Part of what I wanted to do in Kingdom of Shadows was to kind of show that long throw of history, how over the last 3 decades, the drug the drug game has changed. And so you see in the film this kind of arguably this kinder, gentler period where you could, Don Henry Ford, who's the former smuggler you see in the film, when he could literally throw, a couple of kilos of marijuana and either take it across, the Rio Grande by mule into Texas or in the back of a truck. And so one of the things that the film does is it shows you how the game had changed over time and how it's become hyper violent and vicious, to the point where Oscar, when he was working as an undercover in the city of Monterrey in northern Mexico, it's a particularly violent and extreme kind of extreme lethality that you see in the drug game now.
I think that I can tell you that these cartels have been around long before drugs were common use in the United States. They started by smuggling back in the Prohibition era of the United States, smuggling tequila, mezcal, whatever the American, whatever was illegal in the United States is something that they saw as lucrative, and if it's illegal, it's gonna cause financial gain for them. So it's not a new phenomenon. It's been going on forever, and if you were to outlaw drugs today, they're going to find other ways, other venues to make money. Well, I think that we're enamored right now with this feeling that if we legalize marijuana, that all the trouble, all the violence is going to end. And right now, marijuana is the number one cash product for the cartels. But they see that too. They're businessmen. They realize that as more and more states are legalizing marijuana, they're going to have to find other venues, other sources of income. And we're seeing right now in the United States, what we're living is an epidemic of heroin overdoses all throughout the United States. We're seeing more and more of our teenagers, of our youth, trying and getting addicted to meth. The problem with meth is that it's more destructive to your body, to your health, and it's more addictive. And so I think that what the general public needs to realize that uh, once that once marijuana is legalized, you're going to have an entire different problem that you're going to have to deal with.
It's the demand piece is a central piece, but it's actually it's a kind of perfect storm of forces that have kind of hit Mexico. We saw it in Colombia before, we're seeing it in Mexico now. It's not just the demand, although that is this huge part of it, but there's also this kind of rule of law question in Mexico that in some ways predates the current conflict. So there's rule of law, there's poverty and inequality, which is what kind of drives the foot soldiers into the trade. So you have that piece as well as the demand. There's of course the question of arms and high grade weaponry as well. So you really kind of have this perfect storm of forces that have created a kind of a deadly context for certain regions within Mexico. And while the demand is central, it's not the only reason. I mean, to Oscar's point, and many security officials will say the same thing. If you eliminated illicit narcotics, it would still be trade and other things like either pirated goods or human trafficking, which we're seeing a lot of now anyway. So it's a very complex thing. But what we know is that just ordinary people at the center of this thing are being harmed in very, very serious and grievous ways, and we need to do something about that issue.